Today, joining me on my journey to democratise video for business is a solo business owner who beat camera shyness with a weekly video series. This is Video for All. My name's Julian Mather, and I ask the question, if customers love them, and it's never been easier to make them, and we no longer need to be perfect to be on them, then just what is it that is stopping us and our businesses from embracing this wonderful tool that is video? Welcome, Rebecca Wilson.
Yeah, hello, lovely to have me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Rebecca, tell us who you are, who you help, and why.
Yeah, so my name's Rebecca Wilson. I am a solo business owner, as you say. I help growing businesses sort out their data. So businesses often go through this stage of not being able to have visibility into how their business is operating, and I help them sort it out. So I go from spreadsheets all over the place to visibility into what's happening. And why? Because I love playing with spreadsheets, because I had a 10-year corporate career in operational business operational management, and I can see it's often the missing piece for businesses to go from startup to scale up, and I enjoy giving them that piece.
All right. So, when did video peek its head into your business, and what was the trigger for that?
So it was right at the beginning. So as I said, I was a kind of operational manager, operational director for a long time. And when I decided to go out on my own, I was pretty confident that I could deliver the service. I was pretty confident that I could run the business. What I was petrified of was sales and getting clients. And you can't really run a business if no clients come along. So I'd been doing research into kind of how do you sell? I'm going to have to crack this nut. And was introduced to somebody, and they sort of told me of this concept of sort of selling without selling. Social media, content, that kind of thing. I thought that sounds interesting. And he recommended a sales coach to me. Her name's Jules White, over here in the UK. And she'd written a book. And as a business book addict, as you can tell from my backdrop, instantly bought her book and read it. And finished the book. Wonderful book. A lot about overcoming fear and what sales really is. And a lot of my perceptions were wrong. And at the end of her book, it said sort of, I've got a Facebook group. I thought, oh, check that out. And it just so happened that the next week, she was running one of those weekly challenges that quite a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it was video pitching. And so I thought, well, her book talked about getting over your fear. Let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? And so I did, and I won the competition. It was the first time I'd ever done video. And she really helped with, the kind of, not what to say, but kind of what you're trying to get to, tips on how to come across naturally, that kind of thing. And that gave me the confidence to say, okay, so I managed that. What's the worst that could happen if I started putting videos out on LinkedIn? And I did. And pretty much all of my business either comes directly or indirectly from LinkedIn, and videos is what I do 95% of the time now.
Yeah, that's such a
So
common theme that I hear from people. Like, you're on LinkedIn, and it's about having videos on there, and it's not about the views that you get and the metrics, and it's about
yeah,
having them, because LinkedIn is full of lurkers, and they're there and they're checking you out, and you've got videos. That's your opportunity for them to get to know and like you, and then ultimately trust you. And then, like, it takes them a lot of time sometimes, but then they reach out when they feel safe.
yeah, and certainly what I've found from video is first of all, you think everybody else is a professional and I'm not, and actually, if you look with a critical eye at all the videos you see, a lot of the good ones aren't beautiful cutting at the end and the beginning. They aren't, just sort of a talking head type video. And the other thing that was a game-changing piece of advice for me was, if your video is awful, the algorithm will save you, right? Because it won't get dished up to lots of people to be seen. So, you've really not got anything to lose. And the big difference with video that I've found over written content or anything else is exactly what you said, right? People know, kind of feels like they know you when you get on Zoom with them. They come to you. So my kind of fear of sales disappeared because I don't actually have to do any sales, because I get enough people coming to me. And actually, a lot of my videos aren't anything to do with what I do for a business. Most of them, I do a weekly series called Business Book Bites, where I kind of recommend a book that I've enjoyed. And that, just being natural, just talking about a subject matter that I know, right? Because I've read the book. Lots of people come to me and just start chatting, and it's very casual and very natural, and it's no kind of like, I'm trying to sell to you, you're trying to sell to me kind of atmosphere. So it's I wish I'd started sooner almost. Wonderful medium.
It's great to hear that from you, because it's a point that people need to understand is video works differently nowadays for us, and this idea of having perfect videos is actually, in a sense, works against you. It's, perfection
Yes.
is no longer attractive like it used to be. And that, just tell me how many videos you've made, and then if you can go back to video zero, to ground zero, and try to tell me how you thought and felt then, and where you are now with that confidence.
Yeah, so my Business Book Bites videos have been going, what are we in, May, a year now. So I've done 50 probably. And then have done other video things. So I've probably done, I don't know, 70, 80 videos, something like that. And yes, you're absolutely right. To start off with, as soon as you switch the camera on, I just can't talk like a normal human being for some reason. And the first videos were very kind of, you could tell the tenseness in my body language. And when you speak naturally, your kind of cadence of your language kind of goes fast and slow, and there's pauses and there's not pauses. My first videos were very script reading, so sort of, this week's business recommendation is for this book, deer in headlights kind of style. But over time, I've recognized, just imagine you're talking to someone, so just imagine I'm talking to you like I am right now, right? I'm not speaking in full sentences. That's not how one speaks. And I learned to write a script for myself and not edit it. So if you use a funny turn of phrase, use a funny turn of phrase. That's what happens in real life. And I've speeded up my kind of editing massively. And that point you made about perfection, that is really interesting. So certainly when I first started, I'd spent ages on editing and, let's get me centered in the camera and, captions and all the rest of it. And actually some of the feedback I got from people was sort of your videos are too good. They're too sort of flawless. And so I started relaxing a lot more, and I started kind of not putting in mistakes, but leaving in mistakes rather than editing them, and just being more with the way I talked about the books, just complete, honest, open books. So not kind of trying to pretend, just telling honestly what I thought of the book and telling honestly what behaviours it made me change, or whatever the case may be. And my goodness, it moved the dial again. More people, if you look like a real human being, you're a real human being, and people want to work with you, right? It's very simple and obvious in retrospect, but it's not when you're on the step one of the journey.
Tell me, Beautifully said, by the way. I really enjoyed that. Uh, Tell me now. I've looked at your LinkedIn profile and I've gone on your website. I don't know you, Rebecca, so I'm going out on a limb here. But because you're in data and analytics, and I was looking through that, you like taking your dog for a walk and you like playing board games and stuff. But
Yeah.
would you seem to me that you are a much more of a left brainer than a right brainer? That that
Oh,
okay. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay. So I didn't want to overstep the mark there. The
no,
reason I'm
I
asking that, the reason I'm asking that is so many people won't start on video because they say, I'm not creative enough. That there's this idea that somehow, like video, it's this old way of video that that video was this thing like you saw on TV, but now business videos are exactly what you spent the last 5 minutes describing, is where you just turn up and you talk like you're talking to someone about something that would be of interest to that person, and that's essentially 95% of the business videos. So that was
yeah.
a long-winded introduction. Can you add to that about this being an analytical person and starting on video?
Yeah. So I think that word creativity for people who are analytical is a scary word. If you flip the way you look at that, so in the sense of video, you feel like, or I can only talk from my perspective, right? But it feels like the word creativity is I've got to be innovative, I've got to be colourful, I've got to be artistic. But actually, as an analytical person, the way that I look at the world, and lots of analytical people do, is working out, okay, let's chunk down the problem, work out its component parts, and kind of reorganize them to kind of optimize them. That is what creativity is when it comes to video, right? So one part of the problem is, who am I trying to speak to? One part of the problem is, how do I want to come across? What personality do I want to show? Another part of the problem is, do I want to spend hours in editing? So I do my 3-minute videos in one continuous take, so I don't have to edit anywhere in between. So I've looked at it as an analytical problem rather than a creative problem, and then that's made me quite creative. I think a lot of people, I totally agree with you, a lot of people have a problem with that word, but if you remove the word and look at it as a problem to be solved, as an analytical person, that's our, day life, right? Problem, workout, solution. So I think that, certainly for me, when I, rather than video, kind of saying, right, okay, what's the component parts? I need a thing to talk about. I need, who am I going to speak to? I've got my smartphone. How am I going to edit it? How do I solve each of these little problems? And then in concert, suddenly I've been creative. So
Right.
looking at it in a different way.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's follow on that process. I looked on your website and you've got like a video quick tips page. It's almost like a
Yeah.
blog. It could be an FAQ type page. I think I counted about 32 videos there.
Oh, it's more than I thought.
uh, how do you choose your topics for the video? So, I'm angling around the clarity angle, clarity of message.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I'm still on that journey. And I think that there's a couple of ways that I kind of come to those things. So those videos, the quick team tips videos, are very much how I help my clients. They're all about business operations topics. And essentially, what I've done is I've kind of sat down for my world and said, okay, what are the buckets of things that you need to get right if you want to have optimized business operations? And I've kind of come up with 4 buckets. And then just anything that I think of when I'm walking my lovely doggy, or I just write down, that's a little nugget of information. The best place, and it's a cliche, but it's so true, when a customer or a client asks you a question, write it down. Or when sometimes you're on the phone with someone, you come up with yeah, there you go. You come up with an amazing answer to a question. You go, oh, that was quite an impressive answer. Well done, me. And it's like, okay, write that That's a video idea. The other thing that I learned, not the hard way, but over time is, and maybe it's because I'm analytical, I don't know, but 1 point per video. So the thing that I did at the beginning was, tell you, everything you need to know about this subcategory, when actually you just want, what's the one thing, one sentence that this video can be distilled down into, and why should you care about that one sentence? And then, make a 1 minute video out of that one sentence. That's the way you get them short. Is just say one thing. It could have sub points and all the rest of it, but the kind of, what is this mesh of video, I can tell you in 10 words or less, sort of thing. So that's what I do with my, I've not done my quick team tips videos for a while, just because I've had too many leads come in from my other videos, but I'm certainly looking to get back to those for sure.
So that's great. And just to follow on from that, keeping it 1 point per video, in a previous business that I had, I used to make videos, and I made exactly what you said. I was cramming all this information in there because I thought that would be of more value to people who were consuming it. But they would get back to me, and some people would say, listen, you really frustrate me because I'm in the car, I've got 5 minutes before I'm seeing a client, and I want to watch a video, and I get on, and your video is 14 minutes long, and I've got 5 minutes, and I really
Yeah.
get frustrated not watching the whole video. And so that
Yeah.
was one of the trick, people just telling me we don't actually want that. So yeah, so that's, yeah, great that you pointed that out. I got one more question I want to ask you, Rebecca. Because you're analytical, because you love systems, how does this love of systems flown over into the way that you think about video and make video and plan video?
Yes, you've read me like a book. I do have a system. So I kind of, it's evolved. So the first Business Book Bites video took me, not including the time to read the book, I don't know, 4 hours to make a 3 minute video. By the time I'd written the script, realised it was 10 minutes long, rewritten it, recorded it, realised that I was sort of, over here on the camera and da-da-da. Now it takes me about half an hour to write the script, 45 minutes to write the script, record the video, edit it for LinkedIn and YouTube, because I've created a system. Trial and error is the headline, but essentially what I personally do, so I sit and I write my script. I've kind of learned how long that is on a piece of paper. For 3 to 3.5 minutes is those videos, so I can guess if it's going to go over. Then I read it out loud with the timer running, and inevitably cut out a minute's worth of stuff, and that's it. And because I'm trying to be natural, I'm not perfecting the language I've got on my script. I then sit and record it. I record it from this position, because it means when you see me on video or when you see me on Zoom, I've got the same set. And I sit and record it. It usually takes me, I use an auto cue. I use my smartphone, I use an auto cue just to keep me on time. I don't read it verbatim, otherwise it comes across too robotic, but it keeps me on time. And I record sort of 5 or 6 versions, because usually halfway through I get tongue twisted and go, but usually by sort of take 5 or 6, it's done. And then I use a program called Camtasia to edit the videos. And because my series is the same every time, so that the format I use is, what did I learn from this book, what did it make me think about, what actions did I take, and what's the impact been. And so I have like a little thing up here that kind of puts up a bullet point saying, learn, think, action, impact. And so I've got that as a template. So I put the new video in, chop the front off, where I'm kind of pressing button and stuff, and then just move the timing of when it pops up with those things. Chop the end off. I use the same music every time, and that's ready to go. And then write the accompanying post. Slightly different template for the YouTube one, because I do that in what do they call it, landscape, and on LinkedIn I do square. but once you've got a format, it's actually quite fast. Um, when you do it over and over, it's practice, right? It's consistency. What they say is true. I'm afraid you just have to keep doing it, get faster and faster and faster.
Fantastic. Oh, that was great. Now I'm sitting here with a big smile, like a Cheshire cat on my face, because you said that you use Camtasia. It is my program of choice.
Yeah, I love it. It's so easy.
That that's it. Thank you for saying that, because I get so many people ask me, what should I use, and they'll go and I go, don't research. I've done this for years. I've got Adobe Premiere Pro. I don't use it. I use Camtasia. If you're making business videos, if you're like a solo business person, a thought leader, an expert, a speaker, an author, a consultant, just buy Camtasia and use it. It's made for what the sort of videos that you need to make.
So good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so easy to have templates. It's so easy to add music. It's so easy to kind of change audio levels, and change the format and slice and dice like to B-roll. I've done a few with a bit of B-roll on it. And what I actually like is you buy it up front rather than a monthly subscription, because I kind of worked out I bet this will be cheaper in the long run, right? So yeah, the only other thing that I do use is I use an app called Otter.ai, which is like a transcript thing. So I put my video into Camtasia and then I export the audio, stuff it into Otter, and that then gives me the captions. So I download it as an SRT file, and then on my LinkedIn videos, I burn in the captions, and on my YouTube videos, it's like an SRT file so people can have it or not have it. But then I'm not typing all the captions, and it gives you all the timing and everything. So I'm just going to go upload, done. I'm a big fan of captions. I think it's important.
It's only a couple of years away. In fact, before Camtasia just has that auto AI transcribing done as part of it. It's
Makes
just becoming
sense.
so standard. Everyone is going to have it. It's not going to be an extra
Yeah.
cost. It's because captions are so new. They're really I mean for general use, they've
Yeah,
been only
yeah,
out there
yeah,
for 2.5, maybe 3 years, and
yeah,
it's just getting right. Okay, we're going up to normal now, and it's just you won't even think about
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and it just makes sense for so many reasons, right? For inclusion, for language challenges, I quite often watch video with audio off, you know, downstairs when me and my partner are having coffee or whatever, or on the bus or something like that.
Yeah.
And also, I actually quite like reading along as the person's talking. It feels like like you can digest it better. I don't know if I'm a visual person over an audio person or something, but when it's so easy, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? In my opinion.
So, Rebecca, if people want to reach out to you and connect with you, how can they do that?
So the best way is LinkedIn. There's a few Rebecca Wilsons. I'm Rebecca Jane Wilson. Or the absolute best way, and you'll definitely find me, is if you look for hashtag Business Book Bites, which is the hashtag I put on my weekly business book review videos on LinkedIn, and look for Business Book Bites on YouTube, and you'll find my channel too. That's the best way. They need to remember much.
I'll put those links on the show note page. Thank you, Rebecca. If you could just sit there quietly, smile, and I'm just going to take us out, okay? Right. All right. So, if you want a safe place to experiment with the technology, to get clarity around your video message, to get comfortable in front of the camera, so you can start showing up on video and winning more trust, more authority, and more clients, that's what it's about. Come and join us at the New Video Professionals Club, and you're going to be in good company of people like you solving problems like yours. Thank you.